Okay, it's nice if you can inverse. It's sort of like a rotation of a coordinate system. So before I do anything, I'm saying that they're not giving me the f inverse in the table, but I do see the f of x. So what I'm going to point out is I'm going to talk about the table for f of x now. This is x, that's f of x. And if you write that down, what would you get? 0, 1/2. Then what do you get? You get 1, 4. I'm just looking at the f, by the way. And you get 4 and 11. All right, that's not so bad. So someone says, I wonder what the table for f inverse would be then. I'll put this over here. You get x, f inverse. It's just a rotation of the coordinate system. So you get 1/2, 0, and then you get 4, 1, and you get 11, 4 over here. So let's just go through them one at a time. And this one over here, looking at it, it's just 0. We'll check the key later, by the way. F inverse of 11 is 4. We'll check the key later, by the way. F inverse of 4 would be 1. We'll check the key later. The other thing I'm looking at these g things over here, so it's really the same thing. I'm going to put the x over here and g of x over here. This is g. All right, let's look at that over there. I'm getting the x's again 0, 1, and 4, and the g is 4, 0, minus 3. So what does it tell me? It tells me x, g inverse is just a rotation of those coordinates, and that's a g again, g inverse. 4, 0, 0, 1, minus 3, 4. Let's see if we can do this. What's g inverse of 0? It's 1. I'm just looking at this table over here. G inverse of 4 is 0. G inverse of minus 3 is 4. Let's just look at the key, by the way, because, I mean, it's generally supervised key. You might as well look at it. Again, relatively simple. All right? So let's go to the next question. And the next question says, you know, h of x. It always confuses me. H of x is equal to f inverse. Well, inverse is kind of undo things. So I'm going to write down that I'm going to take the, let's see what I can do here. I'm going to take f of both. Let me see, h of x equals f inverse, right? So I guess I could write down, take f of both sides. So f of h of x would equal x. I'm going to write that down. Now what I'm going to do over here is, let's see what I want to do. I want to get h prime, right? No, I don't want to do that, because if I'll get f prime of h of x. I want h prime, right? So let's write this a little differently. I'm going to start to make erasures over here and talk about this. This really, not that bad to do, but it really not help me at all. So what I'm going to do over here is just, you know, maybe play around with it a little bit, and I'll write this over here, h of f of x now is going to be the same thing as f inverse of f of x. Well, this might help me a little more. I'll tell you why. I'm starting to see something over here. I'm starting to see h of f of x is equal f inverse of f is x. Right, that's not 100% true, but let's not worry about that. All right. So what I want to do is see if I can actually find out the derivative now and see if we can figure out what they're asking for. So the first thing to do is I'm going to write h prime down. So h prime of f of x times, I'm using the chain rule, f prime of x is equal to 1. That's not so bad, right? So what am I going to do now? I want to see, you know, when does f of x, right, become a half? I'll write this over here. What value of x makes f of x a half? Now you might wonder I'm doing that. I'm looking at this half over here. So I want to go back up to my table, and I got my f written down. So I'm going to say the x would have to be 0. F of 0 is 1/2. So let me write this down. H prime of, that would be the f of x is a half, right? I'll put this over here. This is what I'm looking at over here. So the x is 0, right? So it's going to be f prime of 0 is equal to 1. So h prime of 1/2 would equal 1 over f prime of 0. The question is, do I know f prime is 0? I don't know. I'm going to go back up here and look. So f prime of 0 is 3. I'll put that in for you. So the answer here is 1/3. All right? So I'm going to say we're good to go to the next question. Let me get my eraser out, though. I'm going to start to erase things. And, I want to erase what I have over here, circling this thing over here, particularly this thing here. Let's go to the next question. Again, I got to scroll back. Each time I got to scroll back. I hate doing that, too, by the way. So I'm looking at this again. I'm wondering, how can I do that for business over there? So let's write down h of x is the inverse, right? They're giving this to me. Again, I could do the same thing I did before. I could do, f of h of x. But that's really not helped me at all. And if I did this on the side, although not 100% true, this would just give me x, and that's easy to differentiate. That's not helped me. Let me erase this over here. It didn't help. It looks like a nightmare, actually. So what I'm going to do over here is really the same thing I did before. I'm going to replace this x with f of x now. I went a little too far there, didn't I? So it's going to be h of f of x equals f inverse of f of x. And again, I hate to keep saying it's not 100% true, but I'm just going to accept it, that's equal x. All right? Now, what do I want? I want to know, when is f of x equal to 4? So I got to go back up here and say, do I know that? Oh, yeah, it's right over here. All right? So f of 4 is 11. I'm sorry, what am I saying over here? F of 1 is 4. Sorry about that. I got discombobulated. Okay? So let's see if we can do that. And so the x is 4. I'm sorry, the x is 1. So let's write this down. H prime f of x times f prime of x is equal to 1. Let's be real careful here. H prime f of 1 times f prime of 1 equals 1. What's f of 1? It's 4. What's f prime of 1? Let's look up. Look up here. F prime of 1 is 5. Eraser out. H prime of 4 is 1/5. All right, let's keep going. I'm going to start to erase here and go to the next one. And it's like we're using a whiteboard, but I'll get rid of this stuff over here. You really don't need it anymore. But I think I'm getting a little better now. What does that mean? I'm some more experience with this stuff. Inverse is always confusing, by the way. So let's write this down. I'm going to write down h of x. Give me 1 second. H of x equals g inverse. And I get, same thing. You could take g of both sides, but it really doesn't help because I get g of h of x. I'm going to take that guy's derivative. Seems like it might be a tough thing to do. So I'm just going to replace the x here with g of x. All right, so let's put this over here. H of g of x equals g inverse of g of x. So h of g of x is equal to just x. And again, it's not 100% true, but I'm just going to accept it at this point. And I'm going to write down the derivative now. And the derivative h prime of g of x times g prime of x is equal to 1. So then the question is, what do they want? They want this to be 4. So do I know when g of x is equal to 4? Like what x value does that for me? Let's go back up here and look at our g table. That's right over here. So that would be g of 0 is 4. I'll write this over here. G of 0 is 4. So let's write this down. H prime g of 0 times g prime of 0 is 1. Well, again, g prime I'm sorry, g of 0 is 4. And what's g prime of 0? And again, I have to go back to the table. G prime of 0 is minus 4. That equals 1. So h prime of 4 would be minus 1/4. All right? Let's keep moving. As I do these things, again, you should be getting some feel for things are working out as advertised. So h of x is equal to, is this the same thing? Yeah, they got a different number, doesn't it? Just do it again. So, it's g inverse. And I'll keep writing this thing over here. H of g of x, just making a substitution, by the way. G inverse g of x. Well, this is going to be h of g of x is equal, well, g inverse of g of x is just going to be x under most conditions. But again, there could be subtleties that this is not working out. I'm just not going to worry about it. So what do I got to get? I got to find out when g of x equals minus 3. Let's go back to our table. And when does g equal minus 3 at 4? I'll put this over here. So g of 4 equals minus 3. Let's write this down. You know what? I made a mistake and I just saw it. I'm going to erase this business over here. Oh, no, I didn't make a mistake. I didn't take the derivative. Sorry about that. I thought I made a mistake. I didn't make a mistake. I'm a little punch drunk. So let me get back my pen a little bit neater. So h prime g of x times g prime is equal to 1. H prime g of 4 times g prime of 4 is equal to 1. H prime, what's g of 4? It's over here. It's minus 3. And what's g prime of 4? I don't know. I'll look it up. So g prime at 4 is minus 1/9. Let's write this down. So h prime minus 3 is going to be equal to minus 9. What am I doing there? Multiplying both sides by minus 9. All right, got it here, got it here. We're good to go. Let's do the next one. And again, looking at it, I wondered, is this the same thing over and over again? And it appears to be. They might shock me with something that's not the same. So what I'm going to do is h of f of x and let's write this over here. H of f of x is equal to x. Again, I said it may not be true, but I'm going to assume it is true for these numbers they're giving me. And over here, what I'm looking at, I'm looking at 11. All right. So when does f of x equal 11? And you may wonder what I'm doing next. When I take this guy's derivative, it's what I want to know. That's going to be f prime of some x value, I have no idea, is equal to 1. Let's take a look. Do I know when f of x equals 11? And I got a lot of scrolling here. Oh, yeah, it's 4. So f of 4 equals 11. Let's put this over here. H prime f of 4 times f prime of 4 is equal to 1. H prime, what's f of 4? It's 11. And what's f prime of 4? I don't know. Look up here. F prime at 4 is going to be 2/3. I'm dizzy from scrolling, 2/3. So h prime of 11 is going to be 3/2. All right. Let's, because he's going on to a different thing over here then. And I want to claim what he's doing over here. So these come from an AP exam, and I guess they're from, I'm not sure what MC stands for. So maybe they're multiple choice. I have no idea. So, oh, I see. So they're, I guess maybe it says 1969. Yeah, the AP exams have been around a long time, but they've gotten substantially more difficult. I'm not sure if that's still the trend, by the way. The trend that might make them more easy. The problem is more and more students are taking the AP exams. But anyway, I'll do these later. Thank you.